Welcome, my name is Matt, aka Road88. We're getting into Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes mods. And I just went ahead and kind of set this guy up based on what swgoh.gg recommended, and that was to have him triple modded. But I'm looking at the in-game tips about modding him with offense and potency. You can go to my first video in my mods playlist where I explain the various different types of characters, like attackers, tank, support, and healers. Healers characters, what their role purpose in the squad is going to be for. And I also explain the various different types of mods and what it is they're meant to be for. And I am questioning this. Setting an attacker as triple health makes almost no sense. He is a Jawa. So he's small, he's shrimpy, he probably doesn't look like he has much to offer, but we saw how they handled themselves against Mendo, against Din Djarin. I mean, do they look like they're that out of control with self-defense? Okay, so what is a Jawa? In other game descriptions of them, they generally go with another term, known as scavengers. And if you think about it, that is very much what they are. They are serious scavengers. They are looters. Hell, even pirates probably get pissed off with these guys. They're in competition. Pirates probably be in competition with these guys at times. Who knows? But Jawas, they're generally independent from anyone else in the galaxy. They don't really meddle with light side, dark side, which is weird that they got this characterized as a light side character. They'll still even do business with a dark side character. It doesn't matter to them. It's the way they see it, money is money, and that's why they steal parts to make money. Anyone can be easily pissed off by Jawas, and anyone could be easily robbed by Jawas. It doesn't matter to them. These guys are just money makers. They're thieves and money makers. Now, I was watching a reaction the other day with someone who was talking about, funny to see a Jawa get stolen from. And honestly, they might have it coming, but the way I see it is probably the owner coming back to reclaim what was stolen from them first. You think about what these Jawas do, jeez. But anyways, Jawas, I'm looking at the in-game tip here. Offense and potency. For an attacker character, honestly, that makes a lot more sense, and I think I'm going to go with that. That triple health on an attacker character makes almost no sense. There's bound to be a Jawa that is, whose purpose is to be a healer. I just assume to wait for that Jawa to set him up with triple health. Anyone else, it makes no sense to do that too. We had a tank character a while back where we were suggested doing that too. In certain cases, when it comes to a tank character, considering what a tank is, okay, that might make sense to, if not triple health, maybe double health on a tank, or at least a pair of health. Using health mods with a tank character makes more sense than with an attacker, but that's only because a tank character's design purpose is protection for the squad. So yeah, doing that, and maybe even a support character too. But an attacker, you really want to utilize the attacker's overall purpose for being an attacker. Because the doctor is not going to be that good of a fighter. Okay, who's gonna fight for him in the squad? I've raised the question: when you have a healer in the squad, who else is gonna heal you? If you don't triple health your healer, okay? But if all you have is healer and support characters, and you end up with one attacker, who is defending your leader and your attacker, your support character, who probably is your leader, probably only has so much to offer, and your healer who needs to keep his focus entirely on being able to heal. I mean, it almost makes no sense to set an attacker with triple health. A tank character could probably almost be allowed to get away with that, but not by much. I would be skeptical about that, even. So, yeah, I'm gonna run through here and change up that recommendation because I really don't think triple health on an attacker character is really pushing the attacker character to its full potential. I feel like it's kind of undermining its purpose. I mean, it's like setting the healer character in the squad with offense. You know, like, why? Don't you want a good doctor in your squad out of your healer? Well, when it comes to your attacker, don't you want a hell of an attacker? Someone who can actually fight? I mean, he's already designed to fight. Why would you undermine his purpose? So, and that's what I'm looking at. So I don't understand where, because swgoh.gg bases its statistics based on what is preferable among players. And okay, yeah, sure, I'm 5 years gap of not playing this game. I was in the game 5 years ago, left for 5 years, came back, but a lot of what my mod playlists and my mods are all about is being able to make sense of what by definition the mods are doing, as well as the definition of the characters, and making sense of what it is we are doing. You want an effective battle, you got to be able to understand the definition of the different types of character roles, as well as the different types of mods, and understand their purpose. If you really want to push for the full potential of your characters. And that's the approach I'm looking at this. I've seen a lot of mod walkthrough videos where the player who's trying to give you a walkthrough of mods, he's telling you, okay, this is what we're gonna mod our characters with. This is what works with them, but he doesn't give you any definition. He doesn't break down what it is we are doing when we're putting these mods on them. He's just saying, this is what we're doing. Okay, why? What good is it going to be to put these mods on my character in a battle a character like what I have, this is an attacker character. Attackers are already fit with offense, they're already fit with probably some speed. So why would I want more offense on this character? Because it would make him push harder. I'm doubling that aspect about him. He's not a doctor. He's not a healer. And when in the in-game result, when I go to set up a squad, if I did a squad of Jawas, there is bound to be a Jawa who specifically is the healer of the squad. When I go to that Jawa, then I can set triple health for him, because I don't want a doctor who just barely passed med school. I want a doctor who damn well knows what he's doing when I'm in a scrape. So, where is that Jawa? Where is my healer Jawa? There we are. Jawa Engineer is a healer. It would make more sense to put do triple health mods on this Jawa than it does for any other Jawa. I need my support character to be able to lead. I need my attacker to be able to attack and maybe even be protective of the squad when he attacks. So in retrospect, you don't even necessarily have to go with offense and potency. You can go critical chance, critical damage with this guy, so he can have a tank character like punch to him. Each type of character has two different forms that they can come with. Tanks are primarily overall a protector. Okay? They are protective. They protect what is inside something. In this case, it would be what's inside the squad. The people inside the squad. That is the tank's responsibility. And they can come in two different forms. how it defends, which is why maybe once in a while triple health, doing a double health or some health mod on a tank character might be once in a while okay to do. But you also have defense mods, or you have mods that allows them to be defensive, which is the sole purpose of a tank character. You can have a tank be able to have a little more speed so they can attack, making their ability to protect more effective. Because you got enemies coming at your squad. You want them to be able to ward off your enemies from hitting your squad members. You need your support characters to maybe be able to move a little bit more, since if they're largely, and if half the time they're leaders, half the time they are, the other half the time they're not. Like I said, there's two different forms of each type of characters. Some tanks just simply punch hard. Some tanks stand in between the opponent and their squad and take the hits for them. Some support members, they are the head of the squad. They are the commanding officer. Some support are like an assistant commanding officer from inside the squad. Healers, okay, an attacker. There's so many different ways the character can attack, and they're gonna oftentimes already have offense and speed kind of set within them. They're not heavy set or heavy built or heavy weighed down by whatever their greatest defense skill is, like a tank is. They can move a little bit more on their feet already, or it's whatever their skill is that makes them so great. But healers, the two different versions that you're going to have of healers are the ones that focus on bringing your health up, and the ones that might actually have the ability to resurrect. And there are cases of this. Each type of character, there's two different forms of each different types of character roles, and you kind of have to test them out in the battle to see what it is they're going to do. But to set an attacker with something that you could maybe do with a tank more efficiently, because the tank is the protector, not the attacker. I mean, you can mod an attacker to be effective like a tank character, yes. With mods, we're cross-training their job purpose. Excuse me. So, doing triple health on an attacker character is kind of undermining the sole purpose of why you would even need an attacker in the squad in the first place. You set up a squad of Jawas. You have your support character that, okay, you might cross-train to do some attacking, but you might also give them some mods where they can focus on the well-being of their squad, because a leader has that obligation. You set up a tank character who might be able to do some defense stuff, or be able to move a little bit quicker on their feet, so that their brick punches can actually hit even harder. Like an attacker with the speed skills of an attacker. The healer is already there to heal. Who is defending your squad in the approach of actually making sure your opponents actually die out? Who is actually responsible for dying out your opponent? That largely falls on the attacker. The tank can help with that. The support characters can help with that. And the healer can only do so much, because his focus needs to be on the well-being of your squad. So, I'm hoping this kind of makes a little bit of sense. And maybe there's something I'm missing, but I'm looking definitively at certain things that even the other walkthrough people, the other people who do the walkthrough of mods, don't stop and hit the brakes and open a freaking dictionary to make sure they even are understanding the sole purpose of a character, and have even analyzed the characters enough to see what it is they're doing when they're in a battle. What type of support character is he? What type of a tank is he? What type of a healer is he? What type of an attacker is he? And when you're talking about mods, yeah, you're cross-training them to be able to help with another role position of a squad. Having an attacker do what a tank or a support character could be the ones doing the help on because of their design function. Well, who is gonna kill off your opponent now? You gotta ask yourself this. And that's where your attacker needs to come in. You need someone who has attacker skills. So Jawa, just pure Jawa, he is an attacker character. Now you can mod him up to have a tank like punch. You know, to be able to have the punch of a tank. You know, do critical chance, critical damage. Or offense and potency. Kind of does that too. Or speed and potency. Make it a little bit faster with them. A little bit more of a dominating hit. Potency is dominating. It's a thing. It's a chemistry term where you're dominating a blend situation, a blend flavored situation. Potency kind of makes it more dominant, more noticed. Offense. Okay, well, an attacker naturally already has offense by nature, so we kind of are doubling up his attacker abilities. We're strengthening it. We're doubling it up. We're gonna make him stronger in that. And critical damage would essentially kind of do the same thing. If anything, critical chance increases the odds that he would even be able to do damage. That when he goes to attack, his attacks will actually hit its mark. Potency. Okay, a model like tenacity, that would be better for a tank-like character. But it can work for an attacker as well. Because tenacity means not easily torn apart. So, you know, you want an attacker that's not easily torn apart, that can be dominating and be quicker, or be able to push harder. Because offense, he's basically pushing his attacks. He's having to push his attacks. If you don't want the little guy to push so hard in his attack, maybe go with speed. Maybe go with critical damage, critical chance, something like that. So he's not having to push so hard. We add offense mods to a character that already has offense abilities. We're actually kind of making it a little bit easier for him to not have to push so hard, you know? He'll be a little bit stronger when he pushes his attacks. But there's other things you can do to make his job as an attacker a little bit easier, you know? Because, I mean, he's out there, he's the pawn of the squad. He's the pawn for the squad, taking all the hits, you know? But you can mod him up to where the hits he takes aren't nearly as effective. You can make him quicker on his feet and be able to kind of get some cross-training from a tank character in terms of how to attack a little more efficiently and harder or something, like a tank-like punch. And so that's what you could do with an attacker. Those are the kind of directions. If I want to mod a Jawa, an attacker character, that is the direction I would want him to be getting modded. Triple health on an attacker is the waste of his potential. It's a waste of his capacity and what he's supposed to be capable of. You already have a healer, Jawa. You have Jawa Engineer. He is the healer for the squad. Let him be the one with the triple health, because you want a damn good doctor, not someone who just barely passed med school. And considering these guys are out stripping ships for parts, he probably already did just barely pass med school. So yeah, might want to triple his health up. But anyways, that is Jawa's mods. I would go with offensive potency, the in-game recommendation first. If you want to play around with it, I would not take the swgoh.gg's recommendation. It just does not feel smart. It doesn't feel like we're making full use of this Jawa's capacity. And honestly, with offensive potency, I feel like we're half making use of what he could be fully capable of. Like I said, you might consider replacing the offense with critical chance, maybe, or speed. You might take that into consideration. Change that offense out with like speed or critical, not critical chance, critical damage. That would really give him a tank character like punch. You have an attacker who already has a little bit of speed, but you can make him even quicker, which still protects him and makes it harder for him to hit because he can dodge quicker. But he can also land a mean punch without the opponents knowing where it came from. And then them really feeling it, you know? Like, oh my gosh, I did not expect that from this guy. That's what you can do with your attacker. And probably even the same with the tank as well. The tank, you can go in two different directions with them. And really, honestly, they're kind of the same with the attacker too. So, but taking that attacker to the direction of a healer is a waste of his potential. Not to mention, you already have a healer Jawa you could be making use of when you set your squad up. Use the Jawa engineer if you really need a healer. And let your support character, if you don't feel like that healer is enough, then you have two different types of support Jawas. One of those you can mod to go in the direction of helping tank character help protect your healer of the squad, so that your healer aspect of your squad is effective. But I would not waste your attacker's potential, okay? That is Jawa's mods, swgoh.gg. Now, Jawa's mods for Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. I got caught up with all that. Subscribe to the channel, like the videos, comments, questions, suggestions down below, and thank you for following. May the Force be with you.